We're going to talk about files and folders and the Windows Explorer in this section. Windows Explorer can be opened if you have Windows Vista or Windows 7, clicking on the folder icon at the bottom of your screen. If not, you can always right click on the Start button and click on the Explorer, and it will open your Windows Explorer. The Windows Explorer has from, back, or forward and back buttons. It has an address bar which tells you where in the computer you are right now. Below you'll find a toolbar which helps you organize and view the contents in different ways, get the preview pane and get some help. This is the preview pane. You notice here there's a pane. We're going to talk about the panes in a minute. This is your navigation pane. This is the left pane. And in the center we have the content pane, and on the right we have the preview pane, which can be toggled with this button. If you click on these arrows, you are able to expand through folders. You'll know that a folder is simply a structure that helps you organize files so you can retrieve them easily. A folder within a folder is called subfolder. If I click on this arrow, the folder gets expanded, and you will notice this is called a tree view, which basically is a branch or node, and you can click on it, and once I'm inside a folder, in the content pane shows me what's on that folder. For instance, if I were on my picture, it will show me the subfolders and then the corresponding pictures. If I were to click on any of these pictures, in the preview pane it gives me an image because it's a photo. I can hide the preview, and I can change the way I want to look at these things. I can make it in big thumbnails, or I can make it look in details. If I look in details, you notice there are columns, and if I click on that column, it's sorted by that column, all the files. At the bottom of the screen there's the details pane, which gives you more information about that file, the size, because this is an image and I took the photo. It gives my camera type, the model, and if you look into more details you will find the size of the photo in pixels. A pixel is an abbreviation for picture element, and it's spelled P-I-X-E-L. And I can create folders and subfolders within another folder. For instance, in my picture I want to create another subfolder for my students. I can click on the toolbar, the button that says new folder. As soon as I do, the new folder appears, and I can just retype or type on top of it the name I want to call this. Let's call it CIS 181. Now if you notice, because my column was sorted on the name, automatically put the CISC 181 in order. I can also rename it. I can press the F2 to type again, or I can right click and click rename. I can also delete it, or I can also, inside this navigation pane, right click, click new, and create a new folder the same way. You can select multiple files or folders. If they're next to each other, you can simply hold your shift key and scroll down and they're all selected. And then whatever you do, let's say you want to cut or delete, you'll delete them all. If I want to copy this and this only, how do I do that? Well, I press the first item, first folder, press my control key, and then with my mouse I click on the other items. You notice selected 3 at the bottom in the details pane, tells me 3 items selected, and they are not in sequential order. You can also, if you don't want to do that, you can also use checkboxes. How do I do that? Well, in the toolbar, click on Organize, and there's the folder and search options. And I can select, if I scroll down in the view, I can use checkboxes to select items. And you notice a checkbox showed up. I can just put a little check, and that has the same effect. Personally, I don't like to have the checkboxes, so I will remove it. But it is there in case you need to use them. To copy a folder or file, for instance, we had this folder called CIS 181, which is empty. I want to copy, let's say, this photo. I right click on it, click copy or Control C, then I go to my destination, I click on with my mouse where I want it to be, right click, and I click paste or Control V, and my image is here. So you notice this is the same image, it's a copy of this image. They are not the same. It's just a copy. I can right click on it and click delete, and it will be removed. If I click on it, right click, and I click cut or Control X, then the picture will be moved. So now notice it's no longer in my desktop, it's only on the folder. Notice I drag it and it disappeared from my folder. If you drag a photo or any file within the same drive, then it will be cut and paste. What is a drive? Well, it's a hard drive, which we can go into the navigation pane, and you will notice here under my computer I have a list of drives, local drives. They're physically in my computer, some network drives, and some remote drives. And the network, if I click on the network, it will show me a list of all the computers that are inside my network. Also, I have some libraries, and the libraries are common files, my documents, music, videos, and photos to help me organize them. We were looking at the photos. I have music for my iPod, some documents, and some videos. Also, I have my favorites. My favorites are programs that I usually use every day or websites I visit. There's also a recently changed, or the files are recently changed. Public are files that are available to all the users who use this computer. For instance, you are using this computer today, however, another student will be using it tomorrow. They will not be able to see your files unless they are public. Your desktop is private. There's are the items that are on my desktop. Any downloads I've done through the web, and any recent website I've visited. We have seen how to create, delete, and rename folders. We're going to show you how to do that with files. Let's go back to my pictures, and I'm going to copy 2 pictures to this folder. These are pictures from the Rose Garden at Balboa Park. I can rename the picture the same way. Click on F2 and I can name it as Yellow Rose, for instance. Actually, this is the pink rose. Notice I'm careful not changing the extension. It says JPEG, which is an image. Right here it says image. If I don't want to see the extensions, so I don't run in the problem that I accidentally changed them, I can go to Organize, Folder Options, Views, and I put a checkbox where it says Hide Extensions for Non-Files. They went away. To save a file, let's say I have a file from Word, start a new Office document, and I say hello class from CIS 181, welcome to college. I'm finished with this. I want to save it. I always use this icon that looks like a floppy disk, or I can press Ctrl S. If this is the first time I save this file, it's gonna ask me for a name. If I am saving an existing file, it will automatically save it without asking me. So if I click save, this is my first time, I call it test, and it's saved. If I went too fast, I suggest you go to the hands-on exercise on page 10 to give you a little idea on how to save, create, modify folders and files. And I'm gonna tell you something else which is not in this chapter, which you're going to use in this semester, is how to zip. I have these folders and I want to compress or zip, let's say, my CIS 181 folder into one zip file. I select my file, right click on it, select send to, compress file. You notice at the bottom I have a zip document, and it looks different than a regular folder. It has a zipper in the middle. So anything you need to learn in this class is how to zip files. Go ahead and try the exercises, and we'll go to the next video later.